So you know what cut-off game is? Cut-off game is when the two of you are friends, everything is good, and you live in the same house. And one night, you turn off the lights, you hug each other, you say, love you, see you in the morning. Everybody goes to their respective rooms, and in the night, when one person is sleeping, the other person gets up, packs their bags, walks out the door, and takes the midnight train. Sweep, gone. Bye. That is what cut-off game is. Now, there's different kinds of trains you can get. When it comes to cutting people off, you can take the midnight train, which means you don't say a word, you just cut them off, never speak to them again, never say hello, never email, never come to the birthday parties, just clean cut. And there's the 10 o'clock train where you say, you know what, this friendship for now is on pause because of certain circumstances that we may not be able to resolve, but we'll be cautious, we'll be friendly when we see each other. And then there's the 8 o'clock train, whereby you say to your friend, listen dear friend, we need to resolve some things and then we can get back on track. So there's different kinds of cut-off game. Now I have been on every single one of these trains. I've been on the 8 o'clock train, I've been on the 10 o'clock train, I've been on the midnight, I've been on the midnight train. I don't think I've been on the midnight train. Definitely been on the 10 o'clock train recently though. Now by show of hands, how many of you have been on either one of these trains? That's you, subscribe to the channel and then let's chat. I think healthy friendships are a sign of good self-image. Good self-image leads to healthy and relaxed and fruitful friendships, but a poor self-image leads to bad friendship. It's something that I hope that we can uncover through this channel. So yes, do subscribe. Let's go back to the cut-off game though. So is it okay to ever cut someone off? Is it okay to just walk out the door? I've also been in the middle of different kinds of cut-offs. I've been in the middle of friends who one won't speak to the other, and the other is saying to me, what did I do to so-and-so? Do you know anything why so-and-so? Do you know anything about why so-and-so won't speak to me? I've also been in a situation where someone just quietly disappears from the friendship and that person is unbothered. So there's different kinds of cut-offs and you can find yourself in different positions. You could find yourself in the middle, you could find yourself as one of the parties. Cut-off game is such a broad arena, we could not even begin to skim the top of it. First of all, I do not agree with any form of midnight train taking. Let's just start there. I do not believe in that midnight train. I do not believe you should just wake up and just cut someone off without any word. I think it's wrong. I think it's morally wrong. I think you leave someone just wondering where you went, where you left in the middle of the night too. Are you okay? There's just so many questions when you just take off in the night. Like, are you a thief? Like, what's up with that? Most of the conversation is going to be centered around the 10 o'clock train and the 8 o'clock train. I know, that's just how I think of cut-off game. I think that there's just different levels out there, but there's really never any reason to take the midnight train, honestly, and that is the whole point of this video. Now let me first of all start by referring you to my little friendship series somewhere on this channel that I will link somewhere in this video, because I'm very, very, very passionate about friendship. First of all, is it okay to ever cut someone off? That is the number one question that I would like us to delve into today. I think there's a yes and I think that there's a no. Let's talk about some of the reasons why it may be okay to cut someone off. First of all, if you are friends, incredibly close friends with a member of the opposite sex and they up and get married, they may be a reason to take a train. Is it the midnight train? No. But one of these trains will definitely be happening depending on the level of EQ on the parties involved. If your friend of the opposite sex has a partner who doesn't feel comfortable with them being friends with you, they may cut you off. If you and the close friend's partner are not getting on or have no relationship, then you may want to just cut yourself off too as a result of their relationship. If the person in the middle does not know how to navigate both parties, then a level of train will be taken at some point in the game. So I think cut-off game can definitely happen when one of the parties enters a serious relationship, and sometimes it's justified and sometimes it's not justified. But it should never ever be a case of a midnight train. I think one of the parties needs to say to the other party why they will be withdrawing dramatically from the friendship, or they'll be taking a step back, and just explain, my partner does not feel comfortable with me being close friends with you. It's worth a conversation, especially if you were really close in the first place. Just reach out and say, listen, it's a new phase in my life. I don't think we can be as close. End of. Or you could reach out to the friend who's getting married and say, listen, I can become a friend of the couple. I think that is personally the best way forward. Just become a friend of the couple. Move from 1 to 2. It is easily done. You'd be surprised how easy that is to do. But at the same time, it's not entirely up to you. It also depends on the person's new flame. What kind of flame are they? Are they burning hot, or are they waxing cold? Yeah, that's another whole other topic. Number 2, cut-off game happens when a friend just wants to go ahead and sow discord among other friends. I have recently been a victim of this kind of situation. And what did I do? I took the 10 o'clock train out that baby, okay? I left. Everyone has their own relationships and own dynamics within the friendship, and then there's just this one person who just does not like the fact that, so-and-so is friends with so-and-so and friends with so-and-so. You want them all to yourself. So what do? You start sowing discord. You start sowing seeds of strife here and there. You start planting little seeds of envy and jealousy here and there, in the hope that this person will only be accessible to you and have less of a relationship with other parties. That, my dear, is one of the reasons that cut-off game could happen. Now, what happened in my situation is I reached out to the friend and said, listen, I don't appreciate that you've been telling another friend that I have been saying X, Y, Z. Friend X said to me, I have not been saying anything against you. I then proceeded to show friend X screenshots. Friend X still denied having said those things and trying to sow discord among the friendship. So what did I have to do? I had to take the 10 o'clock train out, like I said. And what happened with that is the door is still open if friend can stop sowing discord, but cut-off game in that situation, in my opinion, was justified. There is a scripture that talks about watching out for friends who try to sow discord. They may have to be distanced, or they may have to be distanced if you can't resolve. Now, like I said, that 10 o'clock train is all about communicating and leaving things there. You may not really resolve, but you don't hate, you don't wish them badly. It's just that you are upsetting the friendships in my life. Number 3, when friends are abusive, you may have to absolutely take a midnight train. If they're abusive emotionally, if they're abusive mentally, if they're abusive spiritually, you may want to distance yourself, and that is just the truth. The thing about this in friendships is it's sometimes missed, it sometimes goes unnoticed. Well, actually, maybe it doesn't go unnoticed. Maybe we just make excuses for people. But look out for the signs. There are so many signs. One of them is they don't accept your personality. They want you to change. But there's a difference between someone saying, you upset me when you said this, you're a bit loud in that conversation, I didn't get a word in. There's a difference between that and someone incessantly being in your face saying, you need to change, you're too loud, you're too quiet. If someone is constantly in your face, trying to change you, trying to change, the way you dress, the way you sound, the way you relate to others, that is almost a form of control. Now, there are subtle nuances to this, obviously, but in generality, it tends to be that people trying to control you need to be. Take that 10:45 train, just ease back a bit. They don't have to be in your close proximity, but you definitely need to do a bit of a cut-off situation. Reduce exposure. Limit exposure, create healthy boundaries for yourself. But never take the midnight train. Just say, you know what? I kind of need to ease back right now. I just feel like, it's too intense between us. I just feel like the boundaries aren't quite there. Communicate and just ease off. At number 4, cut-off game happens when you outgrow people. It happens all the time. We are moving to different directions in this life. Our values are changing. They are incredibly different, and they are moving in polar opposite directions. Even in this sort of situation, you should never be a midnight train. You should never just cut off people and not say a word and not say, a Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday. You should always leave the door open to, relationships growing in the future. But sometimes, people do grow apart. People do outgrow each other mentally, emotionally. People get different interests. It happens. This sort of situation, it may be an 8 o'clock train maybe, where the door is still open. When we see each other, it's high, it's lovely, but the bond isn't quite as strong as it once was.